Today here at Ice Cream Media, we will be having a special guest, Sam Offman, author of The Solutionist. Today here at Ice Cream Media, we have Sam Offman, and we are going to be talking about his book, The Solutionist. So Sam, where are you from?
I grew up in the north suburbs of Chicago in Glencoe, Illinois.
And how old are you?
27 years old.
27, all right. So you wrote this book called The Solutionist. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, I wrote it as my thesis for grad school.
Why that genre?
Genre is an interesting way to put it because when I first showed the initial 20 pages or so, that was just a story that eventually grew into the longer one, to people, I thought it was kind of like more of a comedic feel to it, and people read it and they went, wow, this is like a really dark, like detective noir kind of thing. And I was like, really? Oh, all right. And like people still give me that response when they read it, and I guess that's just the way it comes off, but it wasn't really intended to go that way.
Let's talk about the main characters of the book. Where did those develop exactly?
For the most part, I just kind of developed them as foils for one another. Carl and Iggy. Well, one is the kind of swashbuckling slob, and the other is the very by the book, clean cut, and you know they have to kind of trade roles and inherit each other's spaces at certain points, and that makes for an interesting dynamic.
Okay. Did these characters, did they come out of people that you know?
Those two, not so much. The only one where I really did anything like that would be Eddie, who's the older Italian gentleman in the book. Mm-hmm. I based him off someone I knew in terms of bits and pieces. This is something writers talk about, where you don't really want to take someone from real life and put them in a book because they'll read it and then they'll sue you for defamation. Mm-hmm. And there are like certain ways to get around it. You can, you can switch the gender, or you can just like give them horrible body odor, and like they're much less likely to say in real life and taking ownership of that.
Right.
But the best way to do it is to take a few characteristics. So for Eddie, I took physical appearance, love of cats, and a story he had told me about his grandmother rubbing olive oil in his hair. And it's like, other than that, they have nothing in common.
One of the questions that a lot of the staff was asking after reading the book is, are you fascinated with murder? Because there's a lot of murder in the story.
Yeah, there is. But like we were saying earlier, it's not, it's not like scenes where about like the knife against the throat and the blood coming out. Like, it's not that kind of murder. It's more like a cartoon murder, where like it's a vehicle for the story moving forward, and like there's element like the guilt and the aftermath and everything is there. But I think it is still handled in a lighter way. You heard it here first. Sam Offman, the author of The Solutionist. Thank you so much for coming out. Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you.